This is a CBC podcast.
CPA 21, how do you read?
I really want to know what happened, and it makes me extraordinarily angry that it's always been a big secret.
Uncover Bomb on Board, investigating the biggest unsolved mass murder in Canada, CP Flight 21.
Get the Uncover podcast for free on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts.
Available now.
Hey Canada, it's gonna be Sam Enchanted Evening. From North Vancouver, it's The Debater! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now, here's a man who'll never turn down a little Chinooki, Steve Patterson.
Hey! Hello, Canada! Welcome back to The Debaters! We're here in North Vancouver, where an industrial composting station is being proposed for nearby Seymour Mountain. True story. Crowd here pretty pumped up. First, a bunch of people gathered to protest the compost heap, but then hundreds of other local residents gathered to march in favor of it, which frightened a lot of people because they'd never seen bears marching before. Now, shall we bring out a pair of debaters who are going to let the fur fly? What do you say? Sounds like a yes. This comic's fridge was rated 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's John Cullen. John Cullen, ladies and gentlemen. Making his way to the stage. Hi, John. Welcome. And this comic is Sagan to none. It's Derek Sagan. There he is, bounding onto the stage, taking the lectern to my right. Gentlemen, your topic is a good one for North Vancouver: grades on report cards. Wow, a lot of school districts are phasing them out and replacing them with written feedback, which is weird because kids have had to deal with letter grades for centuries. Back in ancient Greece, when a kid came home with their report scroll, there would be the classic argument, straight deltas. You'll never be a pillar of the Acropolis with these grades. Why can't you be more like your brother Pythagoras? And then Pythagoras would say, I've got a theorem about that. Anyway, it's time to hear both angles on this debate. So, whereas smart kids should be rewarded and the less smart ones not, be it resolved, don't remove letter grades and percentages from report cards. Derek, you are arguing for this, please, my friend. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Thank you. I have 3 kids, everybody. You've met them,
I
Steve.
have? Yep.
Well, believe it or not, 2 out of 3 of them are getting good grades. I know, right? It's not bad. It's like 66% success rate. My family is a solid C+. But Steve and I both need the letter grade to tell us which one of these kids is the dummy. Because they all seem equally not smart. All kids, let's be honest here, are pretty stupid. Not necessarily in the IQ kind of way, but in the like, holy cow, did you really just say that, you idiot kind of way? You know? We need the grade to tell us straight fact. Does this kid have a chance to be able to support itself one day? No one needs constructive comment that their kid is putting in a good effort, but we might suggest he eat less glue sticks. Give us the straight fact about what. What if you were in the hospital, John, with kidney stone? It's nice to be able to rate the pain on a scale of 1 to 10. You can't really convey the message with your silly constructive comment like, well, we just have to encourage the pain to try harder, not to kill me. You can die, John. Kids need the letter grade so that they could grow up to be realistic, well-adjusted adults like me. Yeah, believe it or not, I got bad grades in school. And look at me now. It was the bad grade that teach me, whoa, I will never get a good real job. I had better learn to tell pee-pee caca jokes. And I did. Grades made me the comedy Canadian treasure that I am today. Thank you.
Derek Seguin. Yeah. Thank you, Derek. Now, to tell us why he gives the idea of dumping grades an epic fail, here's actual BC school teacher and ace stand-up, John Cullen.
I'm probably going to regret admitting that I'm a teacher in real life. So I know that this may be a very tough debate for me to win, because arguing that report cards shouldn't have grades to a room full of CBC radio listeners is like... It's like arguing that tables at Tim Hortons should have a 10-minute time limit. But there's a reason that we don't use grades past high school, and that's because they're useless. I've never put gotten an A in French 11 on a job application, although to be fair, I have never applied for a job with the Canadian government. And here's the thing, every grade in school gets you picked on. Straight A's gets you picked on by the jocks. Straight C's gets you picked on by the nerds. Straight F's gets you picked on by your parole officer. Written feedback lets a student know that not only are they failing my English class, but I also think that they are a bad person. And if you are out there thinking, no, you're so obsessed with grades, you could just imagine that every grade stands for a word. Like A is for awesome, B is for burgeoning, C is for could do better, and D is for Derek. And I'm proud to be a teacher, but let's not pretend that grades are also not for teachers who are lazy. For them, F stands for fallback option. Now, some of you are aghast, but let's not pretend that you don't have a coworker whose best skill is smoke break. At least when a teacher writes specific feedback about your child, you can fully grasp just how badly that teacher fails to meet expectations. Thank you.
John Cullen. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, debaters, it's time to get testy in the bare knuckle round. We're talking letter grades, so if you two report cards want to score top marks, then don't be average. Bring your A game, because if you don't make the grade, then mark my words, you shall not pass. And we'll make you both get the F out of here. So, make us laugh till it smarts, starting now.
Listen, John is a teacher and a stand-up comedian. And you say giving letter grade means that the teacher is lazy. If you got into stand-up comedy, you are by nature lazy. Enjoy. Just give everybody C+. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do that. I like to write, long stories in my jokes, Derek. I like to let it breathe. I like to do that for kids too. Like I said, it's important to let kids, just any kids.
Okay. Derek.
Sorry, what?
Wake up.
Oh, that was great feedback. Thank you, John, for that winning retort.
Well, your son plays sports, right?
Yes. He
Yeah.
does.
So a lot of people complain that you need grades to get into university. That'll be a problem, but it won't be for your son, because the only A varsity hockey player has ever gotten is the one on his sweater. So
That's right, and his is a C. So
All right, that's the bare knuckle round, everybody. We're debating whether teachers should keep giving grades on report cards on the debaters on CBC Radio 1 and the app. And now it's time for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on whether grades should be put on report cards, brought to you by my grade 6 teacher, Mrs. Collins. I want to give her a nice shout out. Mrs. Collins once said, "Stephen, you could be a straight A student if you listened more closely." Or something like that. I don't know what she said. Some educators believe eliminating grades on report cards allows children to focus more on what? Derek.
making their parents angry in other ways.
I can't guarantee that's not true. I'll give you point for that. John Cullen.
It allows children to focus more on learning how to alter all 26 letters instead of just 4.
That's it. Yes. The audience has given you 3 points. The actual answer, it allows children to focus more on learning outcomes. But I liked both these answers better. According to Scholastic.com, teachers' report card comments should always begin with what? John?
Visit Scholastic.com for great deals on books.
It's a good answer. 2 points for that. Derek's again.
They suggest that their comments should always begin with, I'm not saying that I hate your kid, but...
Incorrect. It says that the report card should always begin with a positive note. For example, it's been a pleasure getting to know your child.
You do not know my children.
In 2016, a teacher in Edmonton was fired for defying a policy that prohibited him from giving students what? Derek.
Atomic wedgies and noogies.
Nope, that's okay in Edmonton. John?
It prohibited him from giving his students Valium. I don't know how many classrooms you've been in, Steve, but they really need some Valium.
Okay, all right. The audience has given you 2 points for that. He was fired for defying a policy that prohibited him from giving students a grade of 0. He'd like to give students a grade of 0. And that is the firing line, everybody. All right. Cruising right along. It is just about that magical time again when our theater audience gets to pick a winner. But first, here again is a guy who knows the ABCs of report cards. It's John Cullen.
Thank you. Now, a lot has been made tonight about how kids need grades to be better, okay? But the thing is, kids who get bad grades don't really use them to get better. And the kids who get good grades definitely don't. To them, grades are actually punishment. I mean, instead of hearing, you're the greatest person alive and here's all the reasons why, they're just getting, you know what you remind me of? The first letter of the alphabet. I mean, people worry that without grades, there's going to be no way for universities to tell which students should gain admission. But sure there are. I mean, it could be written feedback. Hell, you could even look at the kids' names. I taught a boy named Skyler, spelled Skyyyler. Does the extra Y stand for, why did we name our kid Skyweiler? I'm sorry, Skyler, but if your parents can't learn that the only thing superfluous letters are good for is report cards, you're not allowed in my university. Thank you.
John Cullen, an excellent stance on report card grades, and a nice shout out to Skyweiler. I hope he's listening. Now, to tell us why he grades just great, it's grade A plus comedian Derek Seguin.
Yeah, thanks. What John wants here is educational communism. We will not be a bunch of dirty commies. We can't just let everybody feel they're the same. It would make the kid even more unaware of how much they suck and need to improve everything about themselves. I suppose next you'll want Steve to stop giving out points at the debaters. Steve didn't give me a point for my super good joke. I'm going to put on my hippie little Birkenstock and go hug my tree. That's don't judge me. Get over it, that's Moods Bibi La. Debate better if you want points. That's real life. You work hard, you get points from Steve, and then you die. Deal with it.
Yeah, essentially.
The world, it's a cruel place. It's our job as parents and teachers to teach these little fartbox that if they work hard, they will get good grade. And if they can't, well, we give them an A for effort and then really hope they marry rich. Thank you.
Derek Seguin, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Seguin. Audience, it is up to you to pick a winner by applause. Who thinks that Derek arguing for letter grades was the most grand? Derek Seguin. Okay. A lot of support for me, Derek. And who thinks John arguing for report card comments killed it in this debate? John Cullen. very close. The winner of this debate is undecided. It's too close to call. Too close to call. John Cullen and Derek Seguin.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio 1. Don't forget, you can grab us to go using the CBC Radio app. Browse through past episodes or catch us anytime you like on your smartphone or tablet. Now back to Steve Patterson.
Hey, Centennial Theater, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? Let's do it then. This comic loves to say, hey, I've an idea that'll make you laugh. It's Ivan Decker. Ivan Decker, ladies and gentlemen. There he is, the always suave and sophisticated Ivan Decker. And this comic believes that an apple a day keeps Bill Gates away. It's Katie Ellen Humphries. There she is. Katie Ellen is dressed for success tonight. Your topic is New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, is it the best night of the year or the worst? There are a lot of rituals around New Year's Eve and around New Year's Day when many take the polar bear dip in frigid waters. I personally prefer New Year's Eve when the balls are dropping. Anyway, it's time for these two to break the ice. So, whereas the prices are obscene and the crowds are too, be it resolved that New Year's Eve is the worst night of the year. Ivan, you're arguing for this, please. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Believe it or not, I used to be a little boy. And as a little boy, I did not enjoy going to school. So obviously, Saturday was my favorite day of the week. Friday was second best, but Sunday sucked. Sunday was the worst because no matter how hard you tried to have fun, all you could think about was the pain and humiliation of what lay ahead. New Year's Eve is the Sunday night of the entire year. The first thing that comes after New Year's is a hangover, then 3 to 4 days of exercise before quitting, and then all the parts of the year that you didn't like again. The only time this was fun was in the year 2000, when they cooked up the idea that we all might die. They're like, the computers! They're gonna kill us! Please go to a party! Nothing like the threat of global nuclear disaster to get the party started. Unfortunately, now, since President Idiot got elected, that's just every day, and it isn't fun. Thank you.
Ivan Decker. Yeah. Ivan Decker. Thank you, Ivan. Now, here to tell us why she's resolved to avoid New Year's Eve, it's the perennially funny Katie Ellen Humphries.
Thank you. Yes, Ivan, New Year's Eve can be a letdown. But if women stopped engaging in all things that were all build up with no climax, the species would die out. The holiday brings people together. There's no more true human bond than the connection you make in line at a Legion bathroom. To say nothing of love connections, do you know how much easier it would be to be single if every time you might get to kiss someone new there was a countdown? Yes, 3, 2, 1, smooching! So fun! 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. We know this, but we make them anyway, and that's beautiful. It's a testament to the human spirit. And before we tighten our belts, we let loose. Ordinarily, if I drink a bottle of champagne and throw up on a fire hydrant, I'm a mess. On New Year's Eve, it's cathartic. Yes. And in the cold light of the new year, I am reborn. Often the way I was first born. Naked and very confused. Thank you.
Yeah, Katie Ellen Humphreys with an excellent argument that New Year's Eve might be the best thing there is. All right, out with the old and in with the bare knuckle round. We're talking New Year's Eve, so it's time to Times Square off and let fly with a streamer consciousness while being a complete champagne. Remember, a walk of shame is nothing to hang over your head. It's just an old lang syne of the times. Let's see who's the biggest noisemaker here in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Katie, you said that 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. That means that 12% succeed, which is very generous. I think it's like 1, maybe 0.5%.
That's still good. There's hope there.
That is such a minuscule amount of hope. If somebody told you that you had like 1% chance of your money going to grow in this investment, you'd be like, yeah, I'll do that. Is there a countdown to when I lose my money? Because I hope we can count backwards from 10.
New Year's Eve is the only time there's a countdown to something fun. I see parents of out-of-control kids start countdowns all the time. I have never seen them get to 1, and I don't know what happens when they do, but I have been assured it is not good, mister.
Good point. That's a good point.
There are no positive life changes that begin the way you described. There's always shots on New Year's Eve. Shots have never preceded anything good ever. Like, hey, take us through how you discovered that polio vaccine. Well, it started with 8 Jaeger bombs.
Shots have never preceded anything good. That is very disrespectful to most of us here who would not exist without them.
Okay, that's the bare knuckle round. We got a little admission at the end there. We're debating New Year's Eve and whether it's the best day or the worst day. And it's time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on New Year's Eve, brought to you by my new hangover tips book, New Year's Steve. It'll be out just in time this year. One tip is Alka-Seltzer comes in handy the next morning, be it dissolved. What did Dick Clark never do on New Year's Eve? Katie Ellen?
Age naturally.
Good answer. Good answer. Well done. 4 points. Ivan Decker.
Who the hell is Dick Clark? I am 32 years old, and I don't know who that is. Way to rope in that millennial audience, CBC.
I will give you 2 points and safe passage out of here at the end of the debate. Dick Clark on New Year's Eve, he never drank. The dress code for the Waterfront Gala Ball in Vancouver is suits for men, while women are asked to dress in something chic and what? Ivan.
Waterproof.
That's probably just good safety near the water. Yeah. Katie Ellen?
Women are asked to dress in something chic and uncomfortable.
The answer I have is chic and sassy, but that probably is right. So 2 points, and that's the firing line, everybody. All right. Just about time for this beautiful Centennial Theater audience to vote. But first, you say you want a resolution. Well, you know. Here's Katie Ellen Humphreys.
My opponent doesn't like New Year's Eve. And I get it. He's talented. He's young. His career's on fire. He's been granted a green card to work in America, which means, among other things, that he recently tested negative for syphilis. Must be nice. Must be nice. If I were Ivan Decker, I wouldn't even go to sleep for fear of missing one glorious second of outrageous good fortune. But for the rest of us, those who gave our heart to the wrong person, who worked too hard at the wrong job, or trusted the wrong Nigerian prince with a sizable money transfer? Who among us hasn't done or seen something this year that they wish they could press the reset on? To you, I raise a glass.
Oh, Katie Ellen has actually got a glass of champagne.
This year will be different. Happy New Year.
Katie Ellen Humphreys. Katie Ellen Humphreys with an excellent argument. Now, to tell us why he'll never be party to a New Year's Eve party, it's the Natalie dressed, soon to be in America, and once again syphilis-free, Ivan Decker.
New Year's Eve, it was fun when the world was a better place. But once the turn of the century happened, and I mean the most recent one, not the hay bale musket one, it just wasn't that exciting. Where are my robot butlers? And forget hotels on the moon. We're still spending considerable time convincing people on Earth that the Earth isn't flat. Again! Okay, so you survived another calendar year. If only there was a thing for you to celebrate that. Oh, wait, it's called your birthday. Everybody has one. Celebrate that and leave me out of it. Thank you.
Ivan Decker is against New Year's Eve. Katie Ellen is all for it. Let's see what the theater thinks. By applause, who believes in Ivan's New Year's Eve peeve? Ivan Decker. Okay. A lot of nice support for Ivan. And who thinks Katie Ellen's New Year's elaboration is cause for celebration? Katie Ellen Humphrey. Whoa! It is clear cut. Here in North Van, I guess New Year's Eve is the best date of the year because Katie Ellen Humphreys is our winner. Big hand for Katie Ellen Humphreys and Ivan Decker, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying to all the dads out there, have fun telling your adult children you'll see them next year when they go out this New Year's. It's still my dad's favorite joke. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night.
The Debaters, created by Richard Side. Produced this week by Richard Side, Graham Clark, Josh Bailey, Nicole Callender, Tracy Rideout, and Philip Ditchburn. Technical production by Matthias Wolfson and Brian Chan. And thanks to everyone at the Centennial Theatre in North Vancouver. Hey, Debaters fans in Toronto, we're coming to the Danforth Music Hall this March. We'll be at the Danforth on Wednesday, March 7th. For details, visit our website. We're cbc.ca/thedebaters.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.